driver. It's a pleasure having you here. I would like to say that I am here as a candidate in order to make this state, this beautiful state, remain beautiful. But we have to bring it back to that state of joy and of fruitfulness, because for a long time we've been losing a lot of that productivity and a lot of that those benefits because of different aspects that happens in Sacramento. And those are the things that I am here, and with your help, to be elected to change. I entered into politics when I was a child. Actually, it was more something that my parents encouraged us to do, from volunteering with people in the community, from being active in the schools, which, you know, that kind of carries over with being a teacher. I think Ayana can attest to that. You know, those things you learn, you give it to your students, and your students come back years from now, and then they say, well, my teacher encouraged me to do this. I had a lot of people around me, from my parents, my grandparents, and neighbors, friends, and being from the South, when they talk about it takes a village to raise a child. In those days, when you walked out that door from out of your parents' sight, everybody else was your mom and dad, and you messed up, they had the right to spank your butt too. And then you go home and get another spanking. So from that, to learn to be respectful of people, especially seniors, the elders. You know, I was surprised to hear a couple of people quite recently say to me, yes ma'am, which I'm not used to that. Me, you know, I'm still young. You say yes ma'am, but in the South, they would just say that to the young, the old, everybody, just out of respect. And that's what we haven't gotten in a long time here in California. Respect. Respect of constituents. Respect of businesses. Respect of the schools. Respect of parental rights. All of those things have been neglected, ignored, abused, because, frankly, people just didn't give a damn. They just didn't. With everything in life, you have to have people who want to stand up and shout to say, you're doing something wrong. You're not helping our community. You're destroying what my family and I want our children to be exposed to. And you're changing it to make them more liberal at heart, to think that they can do whatever they want to do. And that causes them to drop out of the schools. It causes them to become involved with drugs and alcohol and illicit behaviors. I think that when we focus on the great things that we should have within the state, it'll start growing. One of the sayings that's on most of my campaign literature, actually just kind of came to me 2 months ago. The more and more I kept talking to people in the community, and the more things started happening regarding our kids with the schools, teachers getting laid off, the classes getting increased, money not being spent in especially the South Central area to improve existing schools, which means, yet again, all that bond money that they had us asked us to vote for, which I didn't, but it happened to pass anyway. It does not come into the black community. I have to say it. And it doesn't go into Culver City. I have to say that, because it's speaking to teachers and parents at the La Bañona Festival. That was their biggest concern. Their schools, even there, are being neglected. So who's been representing us? That's the whole point. Who do you want to represent you? Someone who will go to Sacramento, promote themselves, but not their district. You look around, there are people without jobs, people without benefits. And the one thing I want them to focus on is think Americans strongest. And the only way you can think Americans strongest is to focus on educating them, giving them the best education in the world. We should have, our kids should be the smartest of all kids throughout this world. But they're not, actually. They're at the very bottom. And the reason why, we have so much liberal thinkers in Sacramento that they don't really want our kids to be productive. They don't want them to be educated. They want them to stay stagnant and stay subservient to the few, rather than becoming part of the mass, to be productive, have their own business, get away from putting graffiti on buildings, and get away from gang banging, get away from abusing even their family members. So with focusing on the growth of California, focusing on the growth of the family, we could improve what we have here in this state. But you can't keep putting the same people back in office. I mean, Democrats have controlled this legislature for 26, 30 years. And the problem every year keeps getting worse, and everybody keeps complaining all the time. I have met so many people, and I have a lot of friends who are Democrats. As a matter of fact, some of them have received their absentee ballots, and already told me, you got my vote. Okay? Well, these are like parents that I've been knowing for years, and I have their vote. And I've heard them complain about a lot of things as well. They know that I'm on their side. They know that I listen to them. They know that I even take their kids and train them how to be good sportsmen, have good sportsmanship, how to be good salesmen, how to present themselves. And it's amazing. I've been in this area for like 22 years. Well, in California, 22 years. In this area, 10 years, South Los Angeles. And when I first moved here, you know what was on my doorstep? The first night I moved into my apartment to sleep in that apartment were teenagers outside on my steps smoking marijuana. 15, 16, and one was 21 years old. He was the one supplying them with it. And I'm thinking, whoa, no, this is not going to happen at my place. You know, I would never tolerate it. I didn't tolerate it when I was in West Los Angeles, and I won't tolerate it in South Los Angeles. So the first thing I did was open my door, and actually, before I moved in, I had them to like put bars and security doors on every entrance and exit. So I felt safe. That wasn't a problem, me not feeling safe. But the thing about marijuana smoke, or any smoke, it travels underneath doors and through windows, and it comes into your wherever you're living. So I went out there, and I just said, hi guys, what's happening? And they were like a little shocked, but you know, they kind of like, not afraid. They kind of like still sat there. I said, oh, how y'all guys doing? You didn't know that this place is now occupied? I said, oh, no. I said, okay, I opened the door, introduced myself. I'm Lady Gage, and I'm now the tenant here. And I said, you guys, how old are you? First, how old are you? 15, 16, and 21. It was like 4 of them, and then the oldest guy. And so I said, you know, this is not good for you. You know, you are all in school. You're not going to want to go to class tomorrow. You're not going to want to do anything. Why are you out at this time of night anyway, and then smoking drugs? So they were shocked that someone would talk to them in that way. And so one started to get up. So wait a minute, don't get up, because I would like to invite all you guys to come to church with me. Okay, when I said the church word, that kind of got them a little scary, because sometimes kids, their parents don't even take them to church. They stay at home, they watch a lot of TV, they play a lot of games, but they don't go to church. And